Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. Today we're looking at The Strangers, which was released in 2008. So yeah, The Strangers takes place with this couple and shit. And, they just got out of a really bad wedding and shit. So it's basically just these three masked people and shit. Just basically, it's like home invasion type movie, which I really like it and shit. And little jump scares in this movie. It's all good. I really like how this shit is directed and shit, and how the movie is lit. I like how they utilize the little home invasion type of thing, cause all the little scary shots and shit. So yeah, but overall, this movie is it's pretty damn good. I like it. It came out with one sequel coming out in 2018, and this new thing which came out like just recently now, and yeah, but I really like it. And I really think it's something good, something entertaining that you can watch when you're bored. And plus, I like how he uses the jump scares and shit in this movie. So, yeah, that's pretty damn good and shit. And overall, this movie is just pretty damn good. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But, yeah, how many people died as their home is getting invaded into? Well, let's find out. Let's get to the kills. The movie begins telling us that this story is based off of true events and shit like that. So, yeah, I guess that's always great for the storytelling and shit. And this card just tells us the setup of the movie. We see someone asking for help and also calling 911 and shit like that and all that type of. We see these two kids walking in here and shit just to figure out what's up in here and shit and all that type of stuff. So, yeah, and then when we look at the shit, it looks like some shit on the ground and this bloody ass knife sitting right here and shit. And then we get this title card, which, hey, this title card looks pretty damn good and shit like that. We meet up with the protagonists and shit, and that's Kristen and James and shit and all that type of stuff. So yeah, and it looks like they just came from some type of wedding place and shit and all that type of shit. So yeah, and then we see James calling his bro Mike and shit to see if he could come pick him up later and shit. We find out later that night that James had proposed to her and shit and all that type of stuff. So yeah, and let's just say shit didn't really go that well. Okay, let's just keep it like that. And I hate that I have to say this, but shit won't be getting better either. Just want to let you know that. And now we watch them feel bad for one another as we watch their failed relationship and shit. And also feeling bad for one another for how the other person must be feeling right now and shit. They get a knock at the door and all that type of shit, and interrupting them for what they was finna do and shit. And bro goes to go answer that shit to see who it is at the damn door at this time. Anyway, she's asking if some girl named Tamara is here and shit and all that type of stuff. Then bro denies and says no and shit, and then she just fucking stands there on the porch and shit and all that type of shit. Then she just stands on the porch and shit, not moving or nothing and shit. So it just makes this whole damn thing weird and also creepy and shit and all that type of shit. So yeah. Anyway, bro tells her to move the hell on and shit. She does that and shit and all that type of shit. So they're sitting down now and shit, and she knows that she's out of cigarettes and shit like that and all that type of stuff. Then bro offers to go get her some just so he can get out the house and all that type of shit. So yeah. And she also says that he doesn't have to go get her none either, but he still goes to go do that shit anyway. So yeah. And since now Rose is gone now, she puts on that ring and stuff and all that type of shit. So yeah. But anyway, she notices another loud knock at the door and stuff and all that type of shit. So yeah. Anyway, she goes to go see who's at the door and stuff. And then the same person from earlier is at the door and shit like that. Then she also mentions that she was already here and shit, and then she leaves. So yeah. And also being saved by, just simply locking that door and shit like that. So yeah. And then she also noticed something else weird, a fire going on at that fireplace and shit, because I don't know, I guess someone did it. Then the smoke alarm goes off and shit and all that type of shit. So yeah, and then she fucking takes it off too. So yeah. And then there's more people knocking at the door and shit. So yeah, I don't know why, but yeah. Anyway, she's pulling out her phone and shit so she could probably call somebody for help and shit, but it's dead, so she put that shit on the charge. Then she uses the house phone to call James and shit, and then just tells him to get back and come back and shit, because things are just getting weird here and shit. Then here go one of the best parts of the movie where she doesn't notice bro in the background and shit, with that mask and shit like that. Even when she's at the sink, he's still coming back out and shit. So yeah, then they just reused the first shot to tell us that he's not there anymore. So yeah, anyway, more knocking at the door causes her to arm herself and shit and all that type of shit. So yeah, then she looks out the window and stuff and finds bro just standing right there and all that type of shit. So yeah, then she runs back and shit under the bed to go get something, I guess. And then, you know, bro finally comes back and shit and all that type of stuff. James goes search the house just to go make her feel safer and shit and all that type of stuff to let her know that no one's here and shit. So yeah, then when they look out the window, they do see that blonde lady just standing in the middle of the damn road for no damn reason. So yeah, like bro left his phone in the car and shit and all that type of stuff. Then bro goes out to get it and shit like that. So yeah, and then when bro goes down to get it and shit, hand comes right behind him and shit. He doesn't notice right now and shit until, you know, when she get right there and shit. Anyway, bro asks them what do they want and shit and all that type of stuff. Then he just get ignored and shit. She comes out to see what's going on that side. Then when they come back over, they're just gone once again. So yeah, I guess shit. But James finds his dad old gun and shit to arm himself with it. And bro go get some bullets from the bedroom and loads that bitch up. Also in the bedroom is this writing on their window and shit. Anyway, bro shoots at the door and shit and then, you know, just gets away and shit, trying to get away. Then they go both in the bedroom and aiming that shotgun at the door for anyone that tries to walk through in there. Anyway, bro's friend finally comes out and shit, you know, coming to the house and shit like that. And then bro walks in through the hallway and shit and doesn't notice that someone's right behind him and shit. Then bro in the mask just, you know, walks around and shit, following him and shit. But before gets to kill him, James kill him and shit by shooting him and shit. So yeah, that's pretty fucked up. Like bro gets another window letter telling him what he is and shit and all that type of shit. So yeah. Anyway, Chris is just hiding away from these people and shit and all that type of stuff, so they won't get her and shit. She avoids by getting seen by bro and shit. And I guess he doesn't see her and shit. And then she knows she just hides in the closet and shit, you know, reminding you of that one scene in Halloween and shit. And then bro acting like he didn't see her, and then, you know, she just gets discovered and shit. So yeah. And when she comes out of the closet, you know, she's just playing with that ring and shit and all that type of shit. So yeah, and then Kristen arms herself with a knife, and then she keeps on asking why are they doing this and shit. So yeah, and then bro comes back out and shit and all that type of shit. And then they're just dragging her body and shit and all that type of stuff. So yeah, this really doesn't matter at all. So yeah, and that was morning and shit. So yeah, and then we cut to them being tied up and shit. So yeah, I guess this took on earlier and shit. And they thought this shit would have been over by now, but you know it's not though. So yeah, and then, you know, she just keep on asking why they keep on doing this and shit. You know, she finally gets an answer.
Because you were home.
And I guess that things just seem hopeless for them and shit, cause they keep on begging and shit and all that type of shit. So yeah, you know, they just keep on stabbing them and shit and all that type of shit. So yeah, and then when we come back, we find him dead on the floor and shit and all that type of stuff. So yeah, but she's still alive. And then when the cell phone starts ringing and shit, she tries to go for it and shit and all that type of shit. And then we learn that she missed the incoming call and shit. So yeah, and then bro just leaves her there because, you know, why, but yeah. And then when these two guys come in and shit, they discover all of this shit going on and shit. So yeah, the movie ends with her screaming and shit. So yeah, and that's it for this movie though. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy it. So yeah, really hope. How many people died in this movie as their house was getting invaded into? Well, let's find out. Let's get to the numbers. By my count, only 2 people died in The Strangers. The victims included 2 males. So yeah, that gives us that very blue pie chart right there. And I wish it felt like this outside, you know. With a runtime of 88 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 44 minutes, which I think that's slower than most Psycho movies. So yeah, I'll get the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to bro that got shot in his face by his friend, cause that's the only 2 I can really choose from. Dom Machete for lamest kill. It go to bro, cause he just found lead on the ground and shit when we later found them. But that's it. This shit came out in 2008, and you can go watch it if you haven't seen it already. And I know the sequel came out in 2018. I don't know what we cover it next week, but I'll let you know though. But until then, I'm Terrell. This has been Kill Count. And thank you guys so much for watching this video and, you know, watching all my videos. Oh god, let's take appreciation to that, because, you know, if I didn't make all those other videos, I wouldn't be standing here right now. Okay, but yeah though, thank you guys so much for the support and shit. And yeah, I really just love you guys so damn much, and I want to keep doing this too for as long as I can for y'all. But thanks everyone for staying tuned and being patient for this particular video. Be good people.